It is absolutely lovely to see. And you know, it became the first sort of machine that so many people got into, transporter vans initially, but then becoming camper versions. And in the 50s and 60s, that was a real opportunity for people to go travelling at a time when, you know, flying was a bit expensive in those days still. Now, of course, it's something that more people do. But this was a way that many, many people went travelling initially.
No, entirely. You know, driving down through France in the 60s and 70s, these would be absolutely everywhere, you know, along with other camper vans. Camper vans don't get the sort of, well, they're just not so prevalent now. You can pick up a flight to the south of France for 30 quid. It's an awful lot cheaper. But then you're right, you have to get a hire car. This is so different. I love to see the ones brought in from overseas as well. And multi-purpose, but also, don't forget, quite a lot of racing drivers had these as their place to be, and the windy Snedston, you know, when they're not racing, and a lot of these used to turn up at race circuits as a sort of place of refuge. But, you know, any family that's had a camper in it, you know, it's used, it's loved, often they then stick around for a few years until they get taken out again. But I think the passion that everyone is showing to get these vehicles here, from all around Europe, and an awful lot from the UK, is something very special. But what a great occasion for them to come and display all their work, and then those who've gone the whole hog, the full, enter the sort of hippie element we're celebrating here. That's something special too, even though the nylon wings do look a little uncomfortable.
Absolutely. You'll see quite a few left-hand drive ones. Quite a few actually came from America and been brought back to the UK. So you'll see quite a lot of left-hand drive. That very flat steering wheel, and I was chatting to somebody, the original steering with these is actually quite hard work if you're not moving. You need to be moving along, and you've got to turn the wheel quite a lot to actually do a decent turn.
No, exactly, but it's when you discover the sort of idiosyncrasy of these things.
But they've always been quite reliable though, haven't they? And that's always been a major factor as to why it sold so many.
Yeah, I think so. You don't want to set up on your family holiday and find you've got to Dover to get on the ferry, so, you know, unfortunately they are available. But no, it's really something, and the fact that a lot of them got used for sort of 20, 30 years and gradually got put to the side. But I think it's fantastic coming back. And also, can you imagine if you had a business that customised the pop-up roof here, you know, a lot of people, I really would have liked the pullback roof, as you see it on the Radio Habit vehicle there. I really love that. That really had a life in radios and television.
That looks very, very original. And as you say, that roof actually is quite rare. You know, to keep those still going all these years is lovely. As you said, you know, it does depend on how they've been developed, how they've been modified. As you look at them all, you think, oh, they're all the same. But actually, if you look at each and every one, they are all subtly different in slight different ways. Maybe that's because of the way it was produced initially, but often it's the way the mechanics have changed. But as you say, some of these are very, very original from the early 1950s when it all began.
And look at them, an awful lot from running in, well, that one's more than two-tone. I was going to say a lot of people running in two-tone. That one's left outside of primary school. I think they've got the paint outside joke, but, you know, great job to celebrate these here. But, you know, when you have vehicles with the two-tone, it really gives you this enormous spectrum of combination of colours you can have. So you did feel you've got your own custom vehicle.
Yeah, and the big VW sign on the front, that was very much a part of it right from the beginning. And it has worked extremely well, and identifying it, of course. And, you know, when you bear in mind that this is called the VW, initially it was the Type 2, of course, because it was based on the VW Beetle. But of course the Beetle wasn't called the Beetle when it first came out, it was called the Type 1, the VW Type 1. So this was called the VW Type 2, but very much based now together, trying to